If you have to close, you don't know how to sell. Wait, what? I know, I get it. And I hear the skepticism and I hear the hate comments coming already. But 8 years ago, one of my mentors shared this with me, or he told me this. And I'm like, are you crazy? I didn't receive it. I didn't believe it because I'd been conditioned for so long to believe that if you don't ask for the business, you don't get to sell. If you don't close, you don't get to sell. So very skeptical. Many years later, fast forward, I found it to be absolutely the truth. In fact, almost every time when I've tried to close the business, I've lost the sale. But when I do what I'm going to share with you in this video, it's consistent, it's predictable, and it gets results. And I want to show you how to get those results too. By the way, my name is Dwayne Huff, Influence Seminars, founder and CEO. I'm a 14-year sales professional. And I've been in business for myself 10 years, still selling. So I guess that makes me a 24-year sales professional. And since then, with my company, I've worked with thousands of sales reps in major companies, small, medium, and major companies. Some you'll recognize, Dell Computers, State Farm, Merrill Lynch, Joseph A. Bank, Verizon Wireless, and the list just goes on and on and on. I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you. What I'm going to share with you is practical knowledge, not only that I've experienced in my business, and in my sales career. And just to give you scope of my sales career, it was a very successful sales career, top 5, top 10 consistently. It was never number 1. It was never a goal that I had. I wanted to start my company, so I wanted to learn how to sell effectively, right? And so let me break this down for you. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes, but if you like what we're talking about here, you can run over. I'll leave a link here where you can grab some free training, whether you're a sales professional, a sales VP, or sales manager, that you can share with your sales professionals, or if you're a sales professional, you can dig into. There's 3 videos free of charge, no sales pitch at the end. All you got to do is grab them and watch them. It's been changing the game for sales professionals. So without further ado, let me jump in here. You've probably noticed. Now, if you're crushing it, as a sales professional consistently, and I mean completely knocking it out without fail, congratulations, you've won. This may or may not serve you, right? If you're a sales manager or a sales VP and your team is consistently crushing it, this may not be for you. But if you as a sales professional or you as a sales manager or sales VP have sales reps or sales professionals that are not consistently hitting it, you're not alone. Check out these statistics. Let me break it down here for a second and share with you. When companies invest in training for their employees, when they do, because they don't always, right? When they do, as you can see behind me here, they spend 80 to 90% of their time, effort, energy, and resources on product knowledge, which is absolutely important. Do not get me wrong. But the feedback from customers says it's the interaction, the expertise, the ability to have conversations, build trust, know that they have somebody in their corner. That's the most important to them. And that's where selling skills or sales training comes in. But companies, it blows me away. Small, medium, and large size companies, they only spend about 10% of their time, effort, energy, and resources in doing that. Why is it not greater? But here's still the problem. Many sales organizations are not able, and many sales reps or sales professionals are not able to achieve what I call right here, ongoing, sustainable sales growth, meaning that they're up and down the roller coaster. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down, sometimes they make quota, sometimes they blow it out, sometimes they don't. As you can see, there's a gap here. Now, this isn't my gap. This isn't a gap I created. Depending on what resource you're looking for, I've heard it all the way from 47 to 57%. Most recently, there was a report that came out by Salesforce.com. Sorry, my screen's going out there. That's why I keep doing that. But and they said, on average, let's just call it 50%. 50% of sales professionals across industries do not consistently make quota or reach their goals. Why is that? What's the gap? What's keeping the product knowledge and sales training from achieving ongoing sustainable sales growth? I've identified it and I call it comprehensive sales influence. And the things I'm going to share with you in here and the things I share in the free training, again, there's a link up here. Go grab that training. It's free of charge. No sales pitch at the end. It's just my way of serving you and helping you and your sales professionals bridge this gap. And it's a very deep dive, extensive teach. The feedback that's come back on that training from sales professionals and sales leaders and sales managers just like you has been phenomenal. So I want to give it to you. In fact, if you like what we're doing here and you like that training, the best thing to do is go to influenceseminars.com. There's a form there. Fill it out. Let's set up a free session. If you're in the Baton Rouge, New Orleans, or Lafayette area, I can come out to your business free of charge, do an hour session, deep dive session with your people, your sales team. Or if you're virtual, we can do this right here. I can do it with your sales team. Why would I do it for free? It's the way I spread the word about my business. It's how I get business. And if you and I have that free session and we don't even work together, you're going to spread the word whenever you get the results. You're going to say, hey, check this guy out, right? So that's the goal, right? It's a mutually beneficial outcome that I'm trying to achieve with you guys. So here's the thing. There's 3 components here I want to put on your radar that will help you to bridge that gap. Assuming that your product knowledge and your sales training is in fact in place, because those are imperative. You can't do without them, but that gap that exists has really nothing to do. Now, I'm sure that sometimes people aren't asking for the business or closing, but I'm going to show you that it's really not what you're doing at the close. It's what happens in between after the sales training, after the product knowledge that achieves the ongoing sustainable sales growth. So without further ado, let me jump into the 3 things and tell you what they are and how they work. So the first thing is, and we hear this all the time. You've heard this. It's a buzzword. It's almost cliche, and you almost cringe when you hear it. You got to add value. Right? And very few people know how to do it. And I'll prove it. Have you ever tried to do anything for anybody, give something to somebody, offer something, create something, build something, afford something, whatever. And you try to do this for your customer, for your prospect, for your spouse, for your boss. It doesn't matter. Have you ever tried to do something for somebody only to have them say, no, thank you, don't want it, don't need it, get out of my face? How did that feel? Frustrating, aggravating, or maybe even lost business as a result of it. Why does that happen? Because we're not adding aligned value. You see, if we want to add true value to someone, we have to create or we have to align with what it is they already value. One of my mentors, John Maxwell, said it that way. He says, influence is simply the ability to add value to people, but we cannot add value to people unless we understand what it is they value. Imagine giving your friend's favorite birthday present to them on their birthday, but you wrap it in Christmas paper and it sits on a table. They're going through all their presents. They avoid your present because they think it's for another time. They don't want to embarrass you. There was a barrier because it was a great gift. Like your solutions that you're offering your customers. It's a great gift, but sometimes it's packaged the wrong way because it's packaged in something that they don't perceive or they don't value. So the first thing that we have to be able to do is create value. Now, forgive me if I misspell some of these things. One of these days, this will have spell check. Until then, spelling in real time is dangerous. Anyway, so aligned value. What is it that your customer, your prospect already values? What do they need? What do they want? What do they expect? What are they looking for? What do they say? What do they complain about? And are you helping them get more of that or giving them that aligned value? Not just value, not just stuff that they're going to turn away because you've seen it. Hey, I'll do this for you. No, thank you. We don't need it. Well, what about this? No, don't need it. Right? So we have to align our value. Number 2, solve the right problem. Let me back up here and talk about aligned value. How do you do that? Spend time in their world. Ask them and listen to where they spend their time, where they spend their effort, where their frustrations are, what's important to them, what keeps them awake at night, what they complain about, what their customers are trying to achieve. And if you listen long enough, ask those questions and listen long enough, eventually they'll reveal to you everything you need to know. If you can't do that specifically, look over historical data that your company has on the perfect type of prospect or customer that you guys are serving, and you'll start to see clues. And then when you get into conversations, simply lightly suggest or ask and confirm that is in fact what they value. But let's move on to solving the right problem or the relevant problem. So many times as sales professionals, we go in because we have our products or services, our solutions. We know they're a good fit, but we're not listening. I'll give you an example. Working with a potential client right now, going through the discovery process, understanding their needs and wants. And at first, on the surface, they thought they had a sales training problem. Comes to find out, they don't have a sales training problem, whatnot. They have a process that works when it's executed consistently. The numbers show it. And the minute they stop executing on that proven process, again, going back to product knowledge and sales training, the things that they do already, when all those components are in place, the numbers suggest that they're consistent and that it crushes. A couple of things going on there is, number one, there's still this gap. And the reason it exists in this particular company is because as they spin the wheel of this process, they're not helping the brand new reps learn the process, transition through mentorship, and then be able to survive on their own without getting discouraged, so that momentum creates. And what needs to happen there in here is part of this in solving the right problem. They need to solve the problem with those particular sales reps that the confidence and competence loop needs to spin. That we need to develop more competence. We need to increase their confidence. And one of the ways that we do that is role playing in the classroom, not just a little bit, not just to the point of discomfort, like seriously, until they feel like they own the process. They can do it without blinking. They can handle anything that comes their way. And they know how to solve the right problems because they're listening, they're asking the right questions, and they're helping the customer to share, or the prospect to share the things that's happening, so that they know they're solving the right problem based on the value be aligned. Number 3 is the last one. I did misspell that one, but mutually beneficial outcomes. Realizing that when we go into any sales situation with a prospect or a customer, that there are going to be certain outcomes, and as human beings, we perceive as sales professionals, because we've been trained on product knowledge and sales training and the solutions that we provide, we go in with a preconceived notion that I can provide the solution to solve this problem. But being able to let go of how we see that outcome and be open to the creation process of adding aligned value, being able to pivot and solve the correct problem that the customer actually has, and realizing that we're fighting as hard for their win and their outcome as we are for ours. Realizing one very important statement with the customers, that people support what people help create. And so beyond product knowledge and sales training, to fill this gap, we have to increase the influence that we have. And the way we do it is, number 1, aligning value, or creating or building aligned value, which requires us to be able to, number 2, understand and then solve the right problem. And then finally, as we're doing that, show that we're as committed to the outcome and the benefit of the customer as we are to our own company. And when we do that, we lower walls, we build trust. And if we do all of this the right way up front, and this happens for me in my business and the people that I've worked with, whenever it's time to ask for the business or close, you don't have to use a technique, a line, a pitch. It's this simple. You're simply like, hey, here's what we've put in place. Here's what we worked through. Here's the plan. What are the next steps? And the customer consistently will say, okay, here's what we need to do. If you've done all of this in place. There's so much more to this. If you enjoyed this training, thank you. And go to either influenceseminars.com, schedule a free session with me. We'll do this with your sales professionals, but run over to the link that I have up here and grab the free training, because it's a lot more extensive. It's a lot deeper dive, and you'll get practical things that you can put into your current sales process that'll help you move the needle. Bridge this gap, and whenever you do, I want to hear from you. So I hope this has served. Run over, grab that training, or request a live session with me free of charge, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.